iEvolve Global presents Mindful Conversations, Breaking Down the Barriers to Good Mental Health. A webinar on mental health, featuring experts Ms. Sophie Mayer, Joel Holding, Kianda Atkinson, and Samuel McDermott. Join our host Sharika Anderson and co-host Tanika Dorant as they lead the talk about mental health. Welcome to Mindful Conversations. Let's talk.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Wherever in the world you are, welcome. I am Sharika Anderson, the CEO of iEvolve Global. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening to join us for our very first mindful conversations, breaking down the barriers to good mental health. Tonight, we commemorate World's Mental Health Day with a very heated discussion on mental health. And I have the honor to co host with me tonight Mrs. Tanika Durant, a social worker. Welcome, Tanika.
Thank you so much and happy World Mental Health Day. It is a good
Yes,
day to celebrate universal human rights on mental health.
indeed. So fitting and perfect.
Awesome. I'm just so excited about our conversation this evening. Are you excited?
Listen, I am super excited. I've been looking forward to this for over a month. I'm just looking forward to sharing tonight because I know many persons just can't wait to hear what's happening with mental health and how they can do it better. And so let me share with us quickly what we're going to be doing tonight. So, we will be talking about mental health. What is mental health? What is mental illness? We're going to be, looking at the myths because there are some myths and misconceptions out there, some things that are not true at all, right? And these myths are actually preventing persons from getting the help they need. So we're going to be looking at those. Also, I am going to be introducing to us formally I Evolve website. It's finally done. I'm excited about that, and I'm going to be sharing that with the world. And one more thing. Guess what? Just one more thing. We have something great, something big for one of our mindful viewers. I wonder if I should tell them. Think I should tell them?
Hmm. I think we should wait a little bit.
All
What do
right.
you think?
Yes, we're going to let them wait until the very end. But I can tell you that this is something that you will want. So, listen, to qualify, you have to first follow us, like our social media platforms, and subscribe. So, head over to Instagram, go over to YouTube if you're not yet there, as well as Facebook. Follow, like, share, subscribe, okay? So, that is the first thing you need to do to qualify so that you can be the winner. All right. So already I'm giving you an idea. It's a prize, and I can guarantee you that you will want to win it. All right. So after you have done that, then you wait until further down in the program. We will ask a question, and the first person who has subscribed to all our platforms and answer the question correctly will win.
Can I enter? Do I
Sure.
qualify?
I want to say sure. You see how it came up very fast? But no, not this time.
All right,
You can't
next
enter
time.
this time. Next time.
Next time around. But I know the prizes are going to be phenomenal. I know that you will not be disappointed at all, whether you are male or female. You
Mm-hmm.
can't miss out.
Listen, I'm positive too. I'm positive. So just stay in there with us. All right, stay right there. And for those persons who are already with us, just go ahead and let us know where you're from. You can just type your name. Let us know where you are watching us from tonight. Okay?
Promises to be awesome, promises to be great. I don't want to delay. I want us to just go ahead and continue or just start and just delve into our mindful conversation. So, Without further ado, I want us to be introduced to our panel of experts. Let us hear them at this time, our panel of experts. Looking forward to what they have to say tonight. Let us meet them.
31-year-old Joel Holding is a graduate of the Jamaica Theological Seminary, where he has completed his social work degree and his master's degree in forensic psychology. He is one of the regional psychologists at the Caribbean Training and Education Center for Health and specializes in infectious diseases by providing counseling and social services to various clients in addition to being an advisor to the psychosocial team in the Western region. He loves God and is fully Christ-centered. In his alone time, he spends time in the Word, reading academic books, and giving back to society through different service clubs, Kiwanis Club, Lions Club, and Rotaract Club, in which he has received several awards of non-member dedication and service above self awards. The philosophy that guides him is being a light that guides broken people to Christ.
Welcome, Mr. Holding.
Yes, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Mindfulness people, hello.
We are looking forward to hearing from you tonight. A wealth of
Thank you.
experience, forensic psychologist on board. Awesome. All right, let us meet our next panelist.
Keonda Atkinson is a young woman who hails from the parish of Kingston. She is passionate about serving God and helping others to become the best version of themselves. Keonda is passionate about leading children and believes that this is one of her many gifts from God and should be handled with care. She is a past student of both the Excelsior Primary and High School, a true Excelsorian. Her passion to impact others led her to further studies at the Miko University College, where she pursued a Bachelor of Science degree in guidance and counseling. She currently serves as a guidance counselor at the Excelsior Primary and Infant School and continues to create numerous programs that will help all stakeholders perform at maximum. Keonda sees her career in counseling as a medium to give back and impact. Her mantra is, do what you can, with what you have, where you are.
Hello, everyone. Good night. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Welcome, Miss Atkinson. Looking forward to hearing from you. We want to take the time out to welcome those who are joining us from the United States of America. We have Jamaicans on board from Clarendon, St. Andrew, St. Mary, St. Anne, all over the place. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining our Mindful Conversations. We are meeting our esteemed panelists. Let us meet our next panelist.
Sophie Mayer, Associate Counseling Psychologist, currently working in the child and adolescent mental health clinics in the parish of St. Thomas. She has been working in the position for the past 6 years in addition to being a counselor for 3 years with the Church Psych Counseling Initiative. She has been a pastor for the past 16 years where she engaged in pastoral counseling. She has a Bachelor of Arts degree in theology, a Master of Arts degree in counseling psychology and a postgraduate diploma in grief loss and trauma management. For her, the best thing about working in mental health is to see persons who are experiencing mental health challenges being made whole again.
Pastor Mayer? All right, she may be experiencing some technical challenges there, but I'm sure she will join us shortly. And I am so looking forward to hearing from her as well. How about you, Shariko?
Listen, I am so excited. I know they are just ready to go. You see, you heard Kayanda. She's like, "Good night, everyone. I'm just so happy to be here." And Joel is just there smiling. They just can't wait to dig in. I must apologize at this time for Samuel. He will be joining us a little later. His flight was delayed, so he'll be joining us later. But I believe that we can still introduce him, right, Tanika? What you think?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Samuel McDermott has a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's in counseling psychology with an emphasis in educational psychology. He currently works as a community therapist for the Department of Counseling Services, which serves under the Ministry of Health in Grand Cayman. During his 9-year span as a helping professional, he has also worked with CPFSA, the Kingston and St Andrew Family Court, and the Ministry of Health's National HIV Programme. His personal mantra is, "Free your mind and everything else will follow."
Wonderful, wonderful. So we are looking so forward to hearing from Mr. McDermott, right, later on
Yes.
in the program. But before we go into the mindful conversations, we are just so excited about this platform this evening, sharing with you, demystifying this whole thing about mental health and the stigma that is attached. We're just bringing awareness to it, and we are happy to be sharing with our audience today here in Jamaica and across the world as it relates to mental health awareness. And so, welcome, Pastor Mayor. We did the introductions earlier. I want you to just start by saying hello to everyone, all of our viewers. And then I'm going to be asking everyone who is on, Miss Atkinson, Mr. Holden, just to share with us a minute or two about what your expectations are for this evening. Go ahead, Pastor Mayor. Then we'll take Mr. Holding and then Miss Atkinson. All right. So it seems we are having a little technical difficulty with Pastor Mayor there. Oh, we lost her a bit. Okay, we'll continue with Miss Atkinson and Mr. Holding. Let us just talk a little bit about your expectations for this evening.
All right. So, I mean, there's so many expectations, but one that I want to zoom in on is that we want to just dismiss all the myths and the misconceptions about mental health. It's a very wide topic, and sometimes if we don't take the time to understand mental health, we overlook it, even though there are the signs and all of that. And we just have to take time to appreciate that, mental health looks different in everybody and the challenges look different too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sounding good, Mr. Holding.
Yes, and I am on the same continuum as Miss Atkinson, having that same expectation. Demystifying the whole different notions that persons do have in regards to mental health. You understand? A mental illness, whatever you may call it, right? It can be mad, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? We are putting these notions that you may have because we believe that persons need help and should seek help and should not be afraid. So that's my expectation for tonight.
Absolutely. And I think, Sharika, it's a good place to segue into our mindful conversations. I think we'll start our conversation tonight. I know that Pastor Mir is having a little challenge, and we are optimistic that Mr. Dermot will join us shortly as well. But we'll continue the conversation until such time. The first question, I think I want to start with Mr. Mr. Holding, since you mentioned the whole issue of, what constitutes mental health and all of that, there are many persons having different ideas of what constitutes mental illness, right? Some persons think that, oh, well, the mental ill are the persons who are walking up and down on the road in dirty clothes, right? But how would you explain that to our viewers this evening? What really constitutes mental illness?
So first and foremost, thank you for that question. And Matt Dermot, good to see you, sir. And good to see everybody that is on. So I like that question that you posed, and I like the latter part that you put. Because we constitute that persons who dress mad, persons who look shabby, persons who, I mean, I call you mad, I'm not there because of your hairstyle, but but persons who have a certain type of look, we might constitute them to be, having mental health issues. Yes. But persons with mental health is in clean clothes. You understand? Persons are struggling with little or so much of a mile mental health issue. So it doesn't have a face, it doesn't have a look. You understand what I'm saying? And that is where we need to look, and where we need to think. And if you may have some sort of issue or problem, it can be just the mere fact that that you missed the bus, and you just stress out that you missed the bus, and you just need somebody to talk to about just missing the bus. You understand what I'm saying? It's affecting your whole well-being, because one, you're going to be late. Worse, if your co-worker or your colleague or your boss is on you to say that you need to reach early. You understand? It's going to have that mental health effect on you. You understand what I'm saying? So it doesn't have a face, it doesn't have a look, and we shouldn't even stigmatize it or discriminate anybody who has mental health issues.
Thank you so much for that.
Okay, so we're seeing Samuel. Welcome, Samuel. We are so happy that you can join us tonight.
Glad to be here.
Awesome. All right. We are continuing. We have already started. And so, Samuel, I want to direct this question to you. Joel explained so beautifully to us what is mental illness. So, can you clarify what is mental health? Just clarify that for our viewers so we don't go around mixing it up anymore.
Hmm.
All right. Excellent definition. Again, really glad to be here. Excellent definition, my brother Joel. Just a bit of further clarity to what mental illness is. It's something that is diagnosed. All right. So it's an actual diagnosed disorder, and it affects your way of thinking. It affects your behavior. It affects your mood. It affects your feelings as well. And it's again diagnosed. Now, we often use the terms interchangeably. We think that poor mental health constitutes a mental illness, which is not necessarily the same thing. So, just to bring a spin on it, just to bring physical health into the conversation, because we know that we can't have one without the other, right? In
Mhm.
order for us to have holistic physical health, mental health has to be a part of it. So think of health overall and think about your physical health. If I have diabetes, knock on wood, or if I have some non-communicable disease, that does not mean that every single day I'm sick, right? So it's the same with mental illness. If you actually have a diagnosed disorder, it does not mean that your mental health is in decline every single day. So if I'm diagnosed, for example, with schizophrenia, psychotic disorder, or bipolar disorder, or clinical depression, or generalized anxiety disorder, it does not necessarily mean that every day I have a poor or waning mental health. So, mental health now, by that definition, walk with me, mental health constitutes your ability to cope with everyday stressors, your ability to cope with what life brings and throws at you. And that is something that we can control. Trouble not set like rain, prime example with me tonight. But yes, mental health, good mental health, it speaks to resilience. It speaks to let me coin a word for tonight. Bounce back ability. Bounce back ability. Your ability to bounce back. So that's what good mental health is.
Wow, I won't even try to call that word Tanika. I'll just leave it to Samuel alone because I just know that I cannot call it. But thank you so much for clarifying that, because the truth is sometimes we use both terminologies interchangeably, and we want to establish tonight that there are clear distinctions between both. All right? So the next thing we want to tackle tonight are the misconceptions and the myths that are out there, because there are so many things out there that are not true. Some of them are half truths, right? And as a result, some persons refuse to get the help that they need. And so we have to clarify the myths and the misconceptions. So I'm going to ask each of our panelists just to share one myth or misconception. Just one. We will start with Joel, then we will take Lady Kayanda, and then we'll go back to Samuel.
So one is mental health or mental illness is a sign of weakness or a character flaw.
Wait, Joel, you can't just say it and leave it. So break it down for us. Just help us out a little
All
bit.
right, so helping you out a little bit. All right,
Yes.
so it's saying that the fact is that mental illness is not a reflection, right, of personal weakness,
Mm-hmm.
okay, or character flaws. It is
Mm-hmm.
a medical condition, as Samuel would have break it down for us tonight, that affects anyone, regardless of their strength or their character or their background or wherever they are from.
Okay, Joel. I think we can understand that. So what you're saying is that many persons may think that if someone has mental health, it's because of
Mm,
weakness in character, or they're just weak. People will say, a weak man make you depressed, or a weak man make you
yeah,
have anxiety. But what you're saying tonight is that's not necessarily the case. That's not the case at all.
absolutely.
Thank you, Joel. Let's go on to Lady Kayanda. Ken, and if you can tailor your response to children so that our viewers can also gain some awareness in that regards.
Sure. So, one of the misconceptions out there is that children don't face mental health issues. I'm going to repeat that one. One of the misconceptions is that children don't face mental health issues or challenges. But the truth is, they do, and it manifests differently. We may realize that, a child that was normally very bubbly and active just withdrawn, or there's the flip side to it too, where the child just becomes overly involved, to kind of mask what is happening. So they are aware that something is happening, but in terms of expressing it, they might have a little challenge doing so. So children do experience mental health challenges.
Thank you so much. And Tanika, that's just so important because sometimes we say the pitney just bad.
Yeah,
The child just love get trouble and them just don't love school. They don't want go to school and they just don't love school. But if we are hearing correctly tonight, what is being said is that they do have mental health issues too. It's just that they don't know how to come and say I'm feeling sad or I'm nervous or I'm fearful. Thank you so much, Kayanda. Let's jump over back to Sir Samuel.
If you have a mental illness, you can't get no work. You're incapable of holding a job if you have a mental illness. If you're diagnosed with a mental illness, then you can't have a job. That's pure myth. There are a lot of persons who are very well capable and high functioning individuals who have diagnosed mental illnesses, or even those who have a periodic mental health issue struggling with, still can function. So employ them.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm sure our viewers are very appreciative because some persons would think that, hey, if you have mental illness or if it is diagnosed, that's it for life, right? That's it. I can't get back out there in the working world. I can't have a fulsome life, right? So thank you so much for shedding light on that.
Absolutely. And that is why conversations such as these is so very, very important. So we do not quote unquote write off anybody because we hear that, they have a mental health challenge. They can still live normal lives and they can still be contributing, positively to society and their own personal development and the development of their family members. So thank you so much, panelists. We have presented mental health as being either good or bad, as opposed to it being on a spectrum. I'm going to ask Mr. Hard Holding, Sir Joel, and Miss Atkinson to be answering this one. Would you agree that mental health exists on a continuum? One. And what are the indicators of good or bad mental health? We'll start with Sir Joel.
All right. So you're sending me into school now.
We're all in school this evening. We're
Right.
all learning from the experts, and you are our teacher this evening. So we're learning at your feet.
So so yes, it is mental health exists on a continuum indeed. And it is not binary, right? When we look at the conception of good or bad, right, of mental health. So rather, mental health can be seen as as a spectrum, ranging from optimal well-being to varying degrees of challenges, which Samuel would have painted that picture of that looks at the challenges and the disorders, right? So when we look at um, this mental health thing on a continuum, right? It basically influenced by several factors of genetics, environment, life events, and personal resilience, and so on and so forth. But when we look at the good mental health, there is emotional well-being, right? And it is all about experiencing a range of emotions and being able to express them appropriately. And when we look at the bad in terms of possibly the poor mental health or potential mental health challenges that we may have, is that it's a prolonged feeling of sadness, hopelessness, emptiness, you name it, right? And it's for us to be able to know when we're at this space, at this place, at a specific time where we need to deal with the us.
Absolutely. And that is so, so very, very important. There are some times when we feel, we feel a bit down and we just feel like we just can't bother. But
Yeah.
we need to recognize when it moves from can't bother to I can't even get up out of bed. I
Mm.
don't even want to shower or to attend to, my daily chores, or I don't
Mm.
even want to exist. So indeed, thank you for sharing that information with us. Miss Kayanda, what are your views?
I think Mr. Holden said it all, what I'm going to I'm going to add. So, of course, just repeating what he said, it's definitely on a continuum. And as it relates to good mental health, you radiate positive energy, positive vibes, no matter how the day looks or no matter how the week looks or, whatever situation you face or that you're faced with, you're just going with an open mind and you just move and you just do what needs to be done. But there's also the flip side, or what we call bad mental health. Is like you just feel like the world is against you. Somebody says something to you, for example, just to make something better for you, and then you just feel like, oh, this person is against me, this person don't like me, the world is just against me, and every the walls are closing in.
And that's a very bad place to be.
Yes, it is.
Right. When
Yeah.
your thoughts are not healthy thoughts,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
the things that are going through your mind, make you feel so depressed and feel as if, there's no hope.
Yeah, the
So we
world
really
is on
have
your
to look,
shoulder.
yeah, we really need to look at, how we are feeling and be very present, be very mindful, be very aware of what we are feeling and why we're feeling what we're feeling, right? And our responses accordingly. I want to go over to Sir McDermott. We're talking about mental health issues and some of the triggers as it relates to that. What are some things that can trigger mental health issues? You're muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. Any and anything really, but let me break that down a bit in with some context. So, trauma. Trauma is a very huge factor that can cause mental health issues to arise and mental illnesses to take full form. There's a book that's actually called The Body Keeps the Score. And what this book describes is that even when we would have thought that we would have gotten over certain things, or would have, let me not use the word gotten over, but would have moved past certain things, our bodies actually keeps memory of the trauma that we have experienced. So when our body keeps that scoreboard, that score, that scorecard, that record of it, even when consciously we're going about our own day, we're quite fine, we're good and so on. Say for example, when we were younger, we witnessed trigger warning, I'm about to say a word. We witnessed a murder, we witnessed a robbery, something like that, and a gunshot went off. We're going about our days. Remember, the body keeps the score. And we hear the backfire of a bike. Pow! We start having a panic attack, and we don't know where that panic attack comes from. Or we probably even saw somebody who resembles somebody who did us harm way back when. And while we may not have it in our conscious at the forefront of our mind, again, the body keeps record, the body keeps score. And just seeing somebody similar, somebody sounding similar can trigger anxiety, can trigger depression, can trigger feelings of symptoms of PTSD. So that's one way in which trauma can cause mental health issues to arise. Trauma in terms of how we attached to our parents or our caregivers, especially if it is that we did not have a secure attachment. We were raised in homes where there was an absentee parent, absentee mother, absentee father, or were abused by somebody who should have been there for us. That can allow us to not be able to form secure attachment in our adult relationships. And we sometimes wonder what happened. Why is it that I cannot maintain relationships? Why is it that I feel so threatened by communication? Why is it that when somebody says something to me, instead of me feeling confident, I feel the pangs of low self esteem just raising its ugly head? That could be due to attachment issues. Um, I also want to just inject this since we're speaking on attachment issues and relationships. We have something, we all have this, we have something that I like to call or choosers or seekers or pickers. Sometimes the left side of the brain that deals with logic and reasoning knows that, all right, I have this as my checklist of potential partners. But the right side, which deals with feelings and emotions, choose somebody who is totally not in the lineup for us. Sometimes our pickers choose persons who the inner child wanted. That younger version that was denied validity, that was denied protection, that was denied being seen. Somebody can just say something and you feel seen in that moment. Everything else doesn't add up. Everything else is red flags, red flags, red flags all over. But the picker inside you that wasn't validated from your younger age, it said, I do business, but all the checklists that you have, this is the need that is being met. This person tell me I'm pretty. And when me the younger, everybody tell me say I'm ugly, I'm good for nothing. This person tell me that. This person make me feel this way. So I'm going based on my right brain, my feelings, what I feel, and that overrides logic sometimes. I think I've gone over 3 minutes now. So just one more trigger for mental health issues. Genetics. We can also be genetically predisposed. And linking it back to what I've said earlier, when genetics come into play, it kind of speeds up the process for everything. So even if it is that you are disposed to it or you're predisposed to it, and you would not have come in contact with certain traumatic incidents, then fine. But if you're predisposed and then the trauma is added to it, then that's even more it's more likely for you to start to show signs of mental health issues. So let me pause and give somebody else an opportunity, because I think I have a preacher's
My God. Come
when
on,
we're ready.
Samuel.
We're chatting up when we're ready. So pause.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. And one of the things that really stood out to me, when you said the body remembers, it just says a lot in terms of what we're experiencing here in Jamaica right now, with so much crime and violence and persons being exposed to it, maybe watching the news, maybe what is happening in our communities, maybe what is happening in our schools, Kanda. So it's very, very important for us to know what the triggers are, to be very aware of what some of those are and how we should respond when we identify them. So thank you so much for sharing that information with us.
Wow, that's a mouthful. That point stood out for me as well. The body remembers, and it makes sense because a lot of persons will tell you that sometimes they are going about their regular business and out of the blue they're having an attack and they can't pinpoint what triggered it, right? Because consciously they may not know what's happening, but the body remembers. Thank you so much, Samuel. That was very insightful. Kayanda, I'm going to throw this one at you. It's the same question, but I would like to hear from a child's perspective. What are some of the triggers that we can think about when we are thinking of children?
All right. So thank you for that question. So one of the triggers is being bullied. And for anybody that would have been bullied going to school, we know that can never be a wonderful experience. And you find sometimes that, once a child is being bullied at school, then, the mental health challenges come in too. And it manifests, as I would have said earlier, in different ways. They're crying, they have anxiety attacks, when they see that student that bullied them, they don't want to say anything because of the fear of being attacked. So bullying, as simple as people may look at it, is one of the factors that may trigger a mental health challenge. Also, I want to look at this one, parents separating or be getting a divorce. Sometimes the children think it's their fault, and they're trying to figure out everything to fix this relationship, and they think that, that, oh my god, this is not going to work out. And sometimes, no matter how you try to share with them that, sometimes mummies and daddies, have differences, and they may not be able to stick together. Is like they're not understanding that because it's just a whole traumatic event. All my life I had my parents, and then this no. And especially too, you'll see it manifesting whenever, for example, you're doing like an activity that involves, talking about the family, or they see somebody else, another child, with both parents, you see they start crying, or they get all emotional or sad, right? So those are some of the ways in which it manifests. And also, one last one is witnessing domestic abuse. Yeah. And as Mr. McDermott said, that, the body remembers. Sometimes you watch them during play and you see them like a reenactment of what happens at home. And sometimes that's how you can tell, even without them saying anything to you. And I mean, they repeat the conversations word for word, and the actions and everything.
Wow, thank you so much, Kenda. I'm sure you're helping some parents, you're helping some aunties, you're helping some cousins, you're helping a lot of persons who didn't even realize that these things actually affect their children, right? Especially the separation that you mentioned. Sometimes we just think, okay, we're moving on, right? Not recognizing that the child has to deal with the implication of that. So wow, I am learning a lot tonight too, and I'm seeing the comments and everybody saying that they're learning so much and they are really in tune and following. So this question is about poor mental health. Poor mental health is very costly. It affects us in different ways. And so we want to delve into looking at how does poor mental health affects us, right? So I'm going to pass this question first to Sir Joel, and then I'll ask Samuel to chime in on it.
So absolutely, poor mental health do affects us. It affects how we think. It affects how we do our daily life, what we think about even doing. And if we, I see somebody would have put in the chat that we need more of these programs, we need more of these things. We need to ensure that we make, counseling and the psychotherapy and therapy sessions affordable, reachable, in the eyes of people. And depending on the world and wherever you're in the world, you maybe can attest to the fact that you may not know where to go, you may not know what to do, you may have never heard about what mental health or mental illness is about and how it affects anybody and how it affects you personally and what you should do. And so these are some of the major factors of poor mental health, right? And we have to ensure that we actually know how to deal with these things, right? And to basically know where to go and to approach, right? But when we look at poor mental health, it's all about or could be about breaking you down, right? It's negative, it's bad, it affects how you think, it affects how you deal with people around you, it affects how you do your job, and how you function in your daily life, right? So you were good, and then, as you mentioned, it's not binary. Today you're good, tomorrow, so it's not even linear. It can be all over the place, right? So we are here tonight, and you are able to know what this looks like and what it is about.
Thank you so much, Joel. Samuel, over to you.
All right. So you mentioned cost. So let's paint a scenario. Let's
Hmm.
paint a scenario on cost. And let me use myself as an example. Knock on the wood as much as possible, so none of this will happen to me in the name of Jesus. Amen. All right. So I am a person who I I don't know. I have not mastered. I'm Jamaican. I'm typical Jamaican male, and I have not mastered the ability to communicate my emotions, my feelings when I feel angry, when I feel sad. I had an argument with my girlfriend. Um, she belittled me. She made me feel less than. I did not want to engage in conversation, but she continued. She continued. She continued. So I hit her. All right, boom. I hit her, and because I hit her, I got charged. I got charged, and I lost my job as a result of it. I work for the government. I lost my job as a result of that. In losing my job, finances got a wreck. Again, me still don't know who to talk to. Me don't know how to even start talk about it and communicate my feelings or emotions to anybody. Bridging them. The only thing that I know to do is probably chill with my bridging them, smoke some weed, probably go to the bar and drink. Um, on this particular day, I start remembering my girlfriend. I remember the family that we had. I really felt down and I binged drink. I went on a binge of drinking. In doing that binge of drinking, I was intoxicated. Nobody not there around for drive me home, so I decided to drive myself home. Drove home, met in an accident, all sort of different things happened. Um, coming from that. We're talking about the costs of poor mental health. So there a family would have been lost, a job would have been lost, me as a valid contributor to society would have been lost. If somebody else died in the accident, another life would have been lost. In a sense, if we are unable to take care of our mental health just as how we would take care of our body, and realize that our bodies deteriorate when we don't eat right, when we sleep right, we do all sorts of things. It's the very same way that we can actually have very real and tangible losses if we don't take care of our mental health. So I hope that that brought it to, and that's just one example. That's just me and not being able to communicate and putting my emotions in another way. Mental health issues can affect anybody, from the highest, quote unquote, to the lowest. And the costs are very, very tangible and real.
Whoa. No, I don't know about you, but that story kind of just bring it all the way home for me. Right, that just open it up and make it so clear, because sometimes when we think that mental health or having mental health challenges, it just affect one thing. Look at the ripple effect that we saw coming out in that story. So it doesn't just affect the individual, it affects persons that are connected to the individual. It affects, and in fact it can affect society overall, right? So when we talk about the cost of poor mental health, wow, that's like, so that's deep. That is deep. And I'm seeing a comment and it says, wow, this is amazing. Thanks so much for sharing, because so many men suffer in silence. And I want to piggyback on this comment because it's speaking about men. Gentlemen, help us understand men and mental health. Just talk to us a little about that. Because we know somehow we're saying that men don't talk, but at the same time, we are hearing of the murder suicides. We are hearing about all kind of things with our men. So just break it down a little bit for us, Samuel and Joel. Samuel, you want to go first, or you want Joel to go first? Just help our viewers, because we need to understand men and mental health.
All right, Joel, between me and you, we're not really, between me and you have a reason. We are talk.
Yes, bro.
No, somebody just busted right a while ago. Males are seen as soft if they talk. So I
Mhm,
was going to ask you, Joel, how many spaces do we have really?
mhm.
Really, how many spaces do we have apart from forums like this, where we can kind of share and
Yeah.
bounce things off each other if we don't feel too righted? Let me go secular. So this guy named Drake, he spoke about he released an album recently. I think it was last night, and he started to speak. He said he was going on a break from music because him have to take care of him, and him not mention mental health yet, you know. Him have to take care of him. He has digestive issues,
Mm,
so he has to take a break and take care of him stomach and all of that. And I remember seeing some comments say him a sissy, him a this, him a that, and this is
mhm,
something physical, you know.
mhm, mhm,
So let's bring it now to something mental. How many times we've seen Kanye West go on his rants, and this is public, so we can call him name. He has gone on his rants. What is the general reaction to that? Ridicule, or something wrong with him, or Illuminati, this, that. How many empathetic and sympathetic responses we've seen? Take it even further. Back, I think it was about 2 years ago, that infamous slap from Will Smith.
mhm, mhm.
After that, when he cried on stage and so on, what was the response? What you remember what the response was? Ridicule again,
Yeah.
laughter, and all of that and so
Mhm,
on. We are in a society, not just Jamaica, but worldwide, where we have been socialized that, all right, we kind of have to hold the fort. And as Joel said earlier, if it is that you show any signs of emotion or feelings, then you're weak. For some people, actually, in a practical way, let's look at the army. If you actually show that you have emotions in the army,
mhm,
then you
mhm.
can lose your job.
Yes.
In the US, I don't know if it happens in the JDF, probably, but I know that in the US Army, if it is that you are seen with any kind of depression, anxiety, PTSD, you're supposed to just shake out. You just see somebody just get killed, your brethren just get killed, and the expectation is that next day you must go back out there and go war just same way. If
Mhm,
it is that you show any kind of weakness at your job, that it gone.
mhm,
So realistically speaking, whenever it is that men, and I hear and I see that comment, whenever it is that we try to then we're bashed. We're seen as, we're perceived as, and you know the terms that we use in a Jamaica, mama man, sissy, all of that, and so on.
Mhm.
So if we're going to tackle this monster of men being silent, then we have to be receptive to their voice. All right.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
If I come on this session and may I try talk on the mic now work and you not hear nothing what me I say, then I go leave because you're not open to hearing what I have to say or Joel has to say or any other male on this platform. But if the channels are open and if a space is there, then that, at least that will be the seed that we can start seeing that, all right, yeah. If we talk, somebody are gonna listen. And it starts in simple ways on
Absolutely.
social media pages. Don't cast judgment. Two
Mhm.
sides to a story. Don't bash. Listen, listen, listen. That's the only way you will learn what men have to say if you listen.
Yeah.
I'll just say wow. I'll just say wow. We have a whole lot to chew on from this conversation, right? So we are just going to move right ahead with the next question. So now that we recognize the costs, how can we improve mental health, or how can we attempt to maintain good mental health? All right, I'm going to throw this one first to Kayanda, and then I'll go to Joel.
All right. So maintaining good mental health is something that, well, I think we would have spoken about that earlier, that it is definitely continuous. And, we have to look at the signs, You see, pay attention to those days. And I repeat, pay attention to those days when you just feel, in Jamaican terms, off. And if you see that it is something continuous, then I mean, don't sit around and say, oh, I'll shake it, it will go, or okay, I'll just pray about it. Yes, prayer is good and all of that. And I mean, Jesus still heals, he still delivers, but sometimes we need to do what I love to call the combination of the spiritual side of it and also the physical side. Don't be afraid to get help.
Thank you so much, Kayanda. All right, Joel, you want to chime in briefly?
Yes. And I just want to add, that you have to take time for yourself. Self care is very much important. Taking care of your mental health is something that you have to prioritize. And even prioritizing is also something that is part of mental health. Because if you don't prioritize, you're not going to have good mental health. So you have to know within your day, what is it that I am going to prioritize today? What is it that I need to get done right at this moment? What is it that I need to do that is going to take care of the self? You understand what I'm saying? So you have to prioritize, and I'm very much sure that it's a Jamaica thing that we get up in the morning and we're just shooting off to work. We're cooking as the mothers. The men is just shaving their face, possibly helping out to get the children ready, if possible. And we're just always on the move, on the move, on the move, on the move. You have to prioritize yourself. It's very, very important. Take away a time from the family, take away a time from the work. That is why you have vacation leave. That's why you have sick days. Take them and prioritize yourself.
All right, thank you so much, Joel.
Absolutely. And someone says we need to make mental health as important as physical health. We
Right.
need to make it a priority, right? So we need to take those vacation leaves. All you workaholics out there, not calling any names, right?
Joel.
Mental health is
No
very,
good
very
at no one of them.
important. Okay, and it's okay to not be okay, and it is also okay to ask for help. I'm inviting you all just to share the live, share the live, share the live, share the live. We want to share this information with our friends. Sometimes we may not be in the same physical space, sorry, as your friends or someone who may need help. But this is one way that you can help them by sharing this information. Share the live, share the page, and also after the broadcast, also after the conversation, share it with somebody and say, guess what? There's some interesting information here that I think could be beneficial to you, to your children, and we're inviting you also to just share. Thank you so much. All right, so now we are recognizing that there are times when we do need help. And so I'm going to be asking Sir Samuel to answer this one for us. Sometimes we don't recognize that something is wrong. Sometimes we do. We think we are just feeling blue or the child is just going through a phase. How do we know when to seek help?
Well, so earlier we spoke about functioning, how it is that we normally function, and we spoke about recognizing when areas of functioning where we're usually on top of things, where we're usually and not just functioning in terms of your capability to handle tasks, but even ways in which you regulate your emotions. So you realize say you start get really snappy. You realize say the least little thing it sets you on edge. You realize you even start to feel physical symptoms such as feeling tired, fatigue, and there's a difference between tiredness and fatigue. So tiredness is like physical, the loss of physical strength. Fatigue, you could have sleep from now till tomorrow. You wake up, you still feel it. You still feel that word that Joel loves to use, burnt out. So when you realize that these things are happening, no wait till it get too bad. This is when you start to seek help. And how do we seek help? I'm out of the Jamaican system now, so I'm not sure all of the channels. So I'm going to ask Miss Keonda and Joel to kind of help me with the channels that still exist here. But I know that you're general practitioner. When you go to your regular family doctor, you go to your regular family doctor, they can refer you to a psychologist, a therapist, a family counselor, whoever it is. Um, there are some pastors, and I'm going to be very careful and choose my words carefully here. There are some pastors who are trained in counseling. I did not say all. I said some, and I make no apologies about making that distinction because I've had clients who have said some things that their pastors have said to them, and some of these things have ruined marriages, have ruined families. So, if you're going to go to your pastor for anything related to mental health, counseling, anything like that, it doesn't hurt to ensure that they're licensed. All right. Same with us. And everybody who said I'm a therapist or whatever goes through the rigors of being licensed and go school and is being trained. So look out for that as well. All right. All right. Let me come off of that now. Um, and even if it is that, because I know that services, mental health services are very difficult all over the world, not just at home, all over the world. Your friends, don't keep it in. Don't keep it in. Your friends, your family. Um, and family is not just blood, All right, because I know that some of us we do come from families that aren't receptive to when we cry for help. Family, a lot of family we meet on the way. A lot of families that we're born with, we meet a lot of family as life goes on. Where you feel comfortable and where you feel safe, where you feel the ability to be authentic, express yourself, speak, talk, the whole thing. Because the mind works in a very ironic way. So the more you suppress something, is the more your brain actually say, so this important. How are
Mhm.
this? How are this? How are this? All right, him a think about him bridging what drop out what day, and him no want think about it. No man, make him go in him dream, make him dream about it. Um, make him a walk and a flashback just run come right there. So the more you suppress something, is the more it tries to surface. And guess what? It will surface when you are vulnerable, and then you see it being expressed in anger. Speaking of that, dude, I'm going to advocate for the men. There are a lot of times when men express certain emotions because that is the acceptable emotion for them to express in terms of society. So a man can be angry, and a man can be angry, but a man can't show fear. A man can't show sadness. A man can't too show too much happiness neither. So if him do any of them something there, oh God, dog name him supper. So yeah, where that is concerned, just ensure that no, break those stereotypes. We have a range of emotions. We're created to not just be angry or sad. We're created to experience life as it unfolds, as we live, as we be. We're human beings. We are here. We're experiencing.
Awesome. So what I'm hearing coming out of the conversation this evening is this word that we're talking about tonight, the mindfulness, the
Mm-hmm.
awareness.
Hmm.
We have to be self-aware,
That's
know
right.
what is going on in us, what's going on in our minds, because we can dress up pretty and nice every day and we're not functioning well. And based on what has been said by our esteemed panelists this evening, some of us, I'm sure, some of us listening, some of us who are watching are questioning, oh God, am I mentally ill? Do I have a mental illness? Where do I fall on this spectrum? But
Mhm.
I'm happy that you mentioned our support system, our families and our friends, and those that we can turn to if we think that we need some support to navigate through some individual circumstances and challenges that we may be faced with at any particular time in our lives. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I'll be asking Sir Joel and can just direct us if we believe that there are some red flags, there are some issues that we're not sure how to deal with and we need help. Where do we go? Who do we talk to? Direct us. I want Kanda to speak specifically to as it relates to the children, and then Mr. Holding, Mr. Joel, will just talk to the adults. Where can we get help? Where can I get help if I think that I'm struggling with a mental health issue?
All right, so just as how Mr. McDermott is advocating for the men, I'm advocating for the children. All right. So one of the things that I encourage, as a guidance counselor is don't try and fix it by yourself. Don't once you see that this is something. I mean, there are things that you can fix at home, and you network with other parents and so forth. But once you realize that it's just more than you can handle, come in. And get help. I always encourage my parents, even at work, I tell them I have an open door policy. You can come in, speak with me. And if it is something that needs referral, then we do what we must. And sometimes too, it's just a matter, stepping back to them coming in. Sometimes it's just a matter of, just looking at some strategies that will definitely help. So don't sit and try to fix it and say, oh, Lord, I rude him rude, or I rude she rude, I just I got you one little phase. No, get help, network, do what you must.
Absolutely. And the help is there. And I must say that Jamaica has grown so much in terms of the availability, the accessibility of mental health treatment. Um, so don't even think about you being your mad out and so on. Don't think about the whole different notions that are out there. If you just want to talk, no, you're not identified that anything is doing you, or anything is wrong with you. You just want to talk, and the space is there, right? See, evolve here, evolve is right here.
That's right. Go ahead,
Having
Joel.
nice conversation, and you're getting a tip of the iceberg. You understand what I'm saying? The fact that you are here is just a testament that you are in therapy. You understand? We may not be physical, but we are in therapy right now. Can we get an amen? And also, there are several places that you can go to get the needed help, right? Um, I don't think you can go to child guidance clinic, but for the children, yes. And there are several different places. But I mean, once you go on Google and you type in um, mental health services in Jamaica, listen, a mirror of places will come up. You just have to choose which one you're comfortable with. And I must add is that going into therapy is going to be like a relationship, right? Not every therapist or counselor or psychologist or whoever is going to meet and gel with you. So you're going to break it sometime and go to somebody else. So be mindful, be gracious with yourself that when you go into therapy, it's all about, is this therapist meeting my need? Right? Am I gelling well? Right? Is this relationship building well? Mm? And you definitely know will say no, and you can say, all right, I'm going to stop this and go to another place. So be gracious with yourself when you go into therapy, right? And when you're seeking that help, think about what is it that you want to come out of this. Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing. Very, very, very good information there. And I'm so happy that Jamaica is moving away from this notion that, if you're seeking a therapist or if you're in therapy, then you something is wrong with you. You
Mm.
know? And it is recommended that even as therapists,
We
we
have
have
our
therapists,
therapists.
right? And so that is very, very important. Thank you for sharing. And there are so many organizations. I Evolve right here. Go on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. That's the tagline, right? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Okay, because I Evolve is a big, big deal and is here to support those who are in need of those services. And so we have reached a critical juncture in our mindful conversations this evening. At the beginning, Sharika would have alluded to a big announcement, and I think I want to hear a drum roll right here. We're going to right here for the drum roll. Yes, for this big announcement, I'm going to just hand over to Sharika. Right before we take your questions, we remember your questions, we're seeing them, and we have a space to entertain those and to speak more about that. But I think we're ready now for the big, big reveal.
All right, you have been waiting so patiently. I will not keep you waiting anymore. So last year we launched I Evolve, and since then we have been working with individuals to help them to evolve and to become the best version of themselves. We have decided to improve or to increase our support by launching our official website, right, at www.ievolveglow.com. So, just to help you with navigating the site, we're going to be showing you a video. So, turn your eyes to the screen and watch.
Welcome to iEvolve Global's official website, your online portal for initiating becoming a better you. Our website features several services geared towards evolving into that person you dream of through coaching, mentorship, counseling, speaking engagements, and much more. Our website boasts a change corner with quotes, verses, tips, and tricks to get you through that rough patch. In addition to our self-help corner, which gives you all the tools, resources, and statistics about mental health and the process of change. Our website aims to get you engaged. It's filled with the resources you need to become a better you. And if ever you need to talk, contact us. Our team of experts are waiting to assist you. Welcome to iEvolve, the roadmap to a better me.
Awesome. I told you would not have been disappointed.
I'm
Let
sure it
me
was worth the wait, right?
Yes, it was. Thumbs up, high fives. Let me see the likes, the comments going up. If you're on Facebook, let me see the likes going up. If you're on YouTube, just share, comment. Yes, I Evolve Global is a global entity. It has gone viral, has gone global. And of course, with the website up and running, you can access the services there. Madam CEO, that's so nice.
Yes, and I want to encourage persons just to take the opportunity and check it out. It's well done. It has information that can help you to navigate mental health issues. Also, in terms of on your change journey, there are resources there that will help you to see where you are. Are you just saying that you want to change, or are you serious about this change thing? So go and check it out and share it with persons so they too can benefit from the content that's there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know I've seen some questions in the chat. We are now ready to take your questions. If you have questions shared from our Facebook page or YouTube, just send them in, and our esteemed panelists will be happy to share information and enlightenment as it relates to whatever questions you may have regarding mental health issues.
All right. So Tanika, remember earlier we said that we had a giveaway.
Yes. Oh, yes. But I
Yes.
couldn't enter. I couldn't enter.
And you could not
I
enter.
couldn't.
The prize
I
is
went
still here. I wonder if you
to.
could, let me show you that I was joking. It was a misinformation. The prize is still here, and
Yes.
says um Adam and Eve Despo. Which service it is, then you'll just have to wait to find out. Well, Tanika, do you have a question for us?
I do have a question.
Wait,
I
Tanika,
do have a question.
before you ask, I want to make sure everybody qualifies. So make sure that you have subscribed to all the platforms. You have liked, you're following us, because that's the first thing to qualify. And then the second thing is you must answer this question correct. It's the first person. It's one prize, not two. One. So if we have a tie, then Samuel may have to ask a question for the tiebreaker, right? But it's one prize. So get ready.
Okay. Are you ready for the questions? If you are, it's just one question. Are you ready for the question? If you are, type yes, 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 yes. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Here we go. Going all the way to the top of this mindful discussion. Earlier, we spoke about myths and misconceptions, which are major barriers to treating mental health. I want someone to tell me what are two half truths that were mentioned by our panelists. Here, easy the question is any two of the many half truths that were shared by our panelists earlier for
Now.
your prize.
Now. While
Man,
you're answering, Minister Tanika, I'll just go right ahead and do the vote of thanks. Right? So, firstly, I want to say big up God, because this whole thing is a God thing. That's the only reason why we're here tonight. I want to say a very big thank you to my co host, Tanika Durant, who just took us through so well. Right? To my panelists, listen. Make some noise for our panelists, Joel, Kayanda, and Samuel. Pastor Sophie was supposed to be with us, but we know what happens in terms of internet. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your expertise. Don't think we're not paying attention. My team is checking to see who answered correctly and who answered first. All right, let me continue with the vote of thanks. We also want to thank the different media houses who accommodated us today to share on mental health. Thank you so much. I want to publicly recognize my world class marketing team, my excellent international website designer, Mr. Raymar Lee. Listen, this gentleman took the vision, captured it, and just brought it to life. So you can contact him for all your website uh, design needs, and he will be more than happy to assist you. Remar, if you're on, you can just drop your link in the chat so that they can see it. And also, my marketing executive, who arranged the media appearances, did the graphic works, managed the social media page. Shout out to J Graphics Design. You can also contact them for all your need. All our friends, family members, all who have been journeying with us all day. Listen, it has been one entire day of meeting and sharing. Thank you so much. And last but not least, you, all of you who are here tonight, who have taken the time out to come and share with us. We are very, very grateful. Now, initially, this was supposed to be a one-time thing, but I noticed the comments and persons were asking for more. Do you want more of this kind of conversation? Encourage us in the chat. Let me see. Just say yes. Just say yes. If this is something that you are interested in, just let us know and we will make the necessary arrangement. I'm not saying no yes. Let me see. All right. Kadeen says, I really appreciate this session. All right. I'm seeing the yes now, and I want more. All right. So we figured this would happen. So my team and I already decided that we will be meeting again November 1st because November 1st is National Stress Awareness Day. And guess what? We all have stress. So when is a better time to come and become more aware? We'll be having a medical doctor will be talking to us about what happens medically in terms of stress, and then we'll have our psychologist again who will be sharing. And then December 1 will be the last one for the year when we'll be talking about World AIDS Day. All right, so save those dates and get ready to come and share with us. I wonder if my team is ready. Minister Tanika, you know if we have a winner?
It seems we do have a winner.
We have a winner.
I'm going to ask our panelists to assist me. All right, the first answer came from Natalie Smith Whitaker, and she said mental health. First myth, mental health is a weakness, and second myth, mental health is a character flaw. Is she correct? Wonderful. Madam CEO, we have a winner. Congratulations, Natalie Smith Whitaker. Congratulations to you. Of course, you can contact Madam CEO Sharika Anderson for your manic pedi at Adam and Eve Day Spa. Do you have a +1 in there? Is it a gift certificate for Mrs. Smith Whitaker +1? Can I be your +1?
I am so sorry. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Durant. Unfortunately, there's no +1. All right, not this time.
Not this
But
time.
I'm sure that she will enjoy her prize all by herself.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so we have come to a critical juncture. Did we answer all your questions? Do we have any more questions in the chat?
Okay, I'm seeing one question. And before I say that question, Tanika, one of our experts, is so committed to spreading awareness and empowering and equipping others that even though tonight is his birthday, he decided to share it with us.
Oh,
I want our viewers to help me to say a very, very special happy birthday to Sir Joel Holding, who took his special night to come and to share with you. Just go ahead and say happy birthday, Joel, in the comments.
happy birthday, Sir Joel.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy
Blessed earth from
birthday.
you.
Once you say mental health, you don't have to jump. I would jump at it at any point in time in life.
Hey,
All right.
you're born for this, because you're born for mental health day.
Can I tell you?
The
That's
mandate
funny.
is clear.
That's funny. All right, so we have one question and then we will allow our panelists to give their final 60 seconds comment and then we will close out for the night. So someone says, hi, good night. So if you're diagnosed with a mental illness, is there some law that states that you cannot be refused employment on the basis of your mental health issue? That's the question. I'm not sure who wants to take it.
Can you repeat it again for me?
It says if you are diagnosed with a mental illness, is there some law that states that you cannot be refused employment on the basis of your mental health issue?
Well, I do know that there is an act that speaks to the labor force when it comes on to mental health issues. So it depending on your level of diagnosis and the range in your diagnosis in terms of is it severe? Is it something where you are able or fit with this diagnosis to work? So it all depends on psychological evaluation that needs to be done and presented to HR. So, the psychological evaluation will be done by a trained psychologist who is licensed to do assessment and is competent and will use the relevant assessment tool that will help to understand where you're at to see your level of functioning in society. And definitely the act is there that supports such.
All right, thank you, Joel. Anybody else want to chime in, or Joel answered it for all of us? That's it. All right. Is there
So,
any other question?
well, excellent response. Point blank, it is illegal for you to be fired if you have a mental illness. So yeah, if you get fired, go to your lawyer, bring it up with the labor force. Don't just walk away just like that. All right. So you can't be fired if you have depression. You can't be fired if you have. Granted, there are loopholes that lawyers and companies will them do them little magic and say that it was on the terms of this and so on and not necessarily your mental health. But if you are fired and it is stated that you're fired because you have a diagnosis, then yeah, that's illegal.
Okay, thank you. Tanika, what a night.
It has been a very, very good one. It has been a night of information sharing. It has been a night of reflection. It has been a night of awareness. And I'm just so looking forward to our next mindful conversation. And as we close out, I think we'll hear from our panelists, their final, 10 seconds.
Yes, go right ahead, Joel, then
Right.
Cleander, then
Let's go.
Samuel. Samuel is a preacher, but he's going to try to keep it in the 10 seconds this time.
All right. So there is no good health without mental health. And I'll leave it right there.
Perfect.
Whoa, short and spicy. So, I'd say it's okay not to be okay. I think Tanika would have mentioned that. And, self care is important. Self care is definitely the best care. And, sometimes people think that overcoming mental health conditions is just a matter of willpower and, you just shake it off and, you keep going. But sometimes we need a little help. We need the professional advice. We need a professional help. So it's okay not to be okay. Your mental health is important.
Thank you, Kayanda. Kayanda is a preacher too.
We we we're talking about mindful conversations. When last have you been in the present? That's what being mindful means. Be in the here, be in the now. Stop stress about tomorrow. You have no control over it. Stop stress about the past. You have no control over that either. Know the dichotomy of control. What you have control over, do all that you can. Sleep, eat, exercise, love up on who you for love up and talk to who you need for talk to. Smell the roses, go watch a movie, go to the beach, put your toes in the sands, be here. I know this sounds cliche, but it is it is called the present for a reason. It's a gift. Accept that gift, open it, enjoy it. Stop stress yourself.
Amen.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Tanika, what a way to end tonight. Do you
I
have
tell
anything
you.
you want to say?
I love the quote from Naidu Quibin, and it says, "Your present circumstances do not determine where you go, they merely determine where you start." It
And
has been my
that's
pleasure sharing with you this evening in Mindful Conversations. It has been a wonderful time, and I know that our viewers would have benefited from the session. And we encourage you to share with somebody the information. Don't keep it to yourself. We are moving towards mental wellness together.
well said. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for tuning in to Mindful Conversations. See you soon as our series continues. Remember to like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe to our social media pages. It's time to evolve for a better me.